Hey everyone, welcome to the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I am your host. I am the Clydesdale. We love to do fitness, and I'm with my friends. It's ladies' night tonight, as Charlie couldn't join us, but glad to have the ladies with us. Before we get into this, let's huge shout out to RX Smart Gear, the sponsor, title sponsor of this podcast. We want to thank them for that. They are awesome, best jump rope in the business. If you need a jump rope for the open, it's coming soon. You can get one for 15% off by going to rxsmartgear.com using the code Clydesdale15, all caps, and that gets you 15% off anything in the store except for new releases and special editions. So, last week we had the Matt Fraser retirement and a ton of stuff go down. This week, a little slower. Kind of keep up with the news. And Kat's actually going to lead off the show tonight because they did announce last week some updates to the semifinal round of the CrossFit Games season. And so she's just going to hit the highlights of that as we start the show.
Yeah, so it's sort of like regionals, like a lot of people had been hoping. It looks like from the quarterfinals, which are going to be online, right? So from the open, top 10% of each continent goes on to part 2, which are those quarterfinals. Those quarterfinals will be online. From there, the top 30 per semifinal event that's scheduled. And so let me just break that down. So there's going to be in the US or in the North American continent, there's going to be 4 semifinals. So 120 athletes, the top 120 coming out of the North American quarterfinals will be advancing to the semifinals. It appears that their ranking will determine who chooses to go where. So there will be 4 events somewhere in North America, presumably maybe 1 in Canada and like 3 in the US. Don't know for sure. But if you're like the number 1 seed on the female side, you will get to choose which of those 4 you're going to go to. And then I believe it goes like number 2 seed is going to choose where they go and so on and so forth. So if you're towards the tail end of that 120 people, you might not have a choice as to which one you get to go to, but you're going to go to the one where there's a spot for you because they're only going to take 30 participants per event. So in that North American, there's going to be 4. In Europe, there's going to be 2. So you get 60 athletes, 60 men, 60 women advancing sort of to that next step. There's going to be 1 in Oceania, which is Australia and New Zealand, 1 in Africa, 1 in Asia, and 1 in South America. So that's kind of how that's going to break out. And then from there, the top, anywhere from the top 1 to the top 5 will go to the games depending on what continent you're on. So if you're competing in North America, it's going to be the top 5 of each of those 4 events is going to move on to the games. In Europe, it's also going to be top 5. And then in Oceania, Asia, and South America, it's going to be top 2. And then in Africa, it's going to be top, just 1 person is going to go. 1 male, 1 female from the African continent will go to the games. So that leaves, I didn't do the math, but that's how many people are going to go to the games. They talked a little bit about that last chance qualifier. That last chance qualifier is going to be online. It is not going to be in person. They're not going to try to do that in person, although they're talking about in future years how cool of an event that would be to have it in person because you get to see sort of everybody from all over. But they're going to take, it looks like, I think, like the three best losers from each of the semifinals. So if you're in the US, it's going to be places 6th, 7th, and 8th that don't make it. If you're in Africa, it's going to be places 2nd, 3rd, and 4th will get to go and compete in that last chance qualifier. I don't know how many people are going from that last chance qualifier. I didn't catch that part.
They didn't know. They didn't say.
But presumably, 1 or 2 maybe. So that's the deal. Obviously, there's going to be at least 1 event in person, and that's going to be the games, right? And they're not sure if they're going to be spectators or not, but some of the semifinals might be in person, some of them might be online. It's really going to depend on sort of where they are and where we are at the time, because it's just, it's a crapshoot. Who knows?
The other missing component, I believe, is that they didn't say who the partner competitions were that are going to hold those semifinal events. So we still don't know who, where, when.
Yeah. And even if they're, I mean, it might be different if they're online versus in person, right? I mean, they might be thinking like, okay, we're going to have 4 events and it's going to be these 4 venues and these 4 companies leading them. But oh crap, what if it has to be online? Well, maybe if it's online, they go with just one event coordinator who does online events really well. Wink, nod. And then those are the people that run it. Like, I think at that point, it might even not be the same company doing it. So who knows? It's definitely not an enviable position to be in right now to try to plan the season.
Yeah, it's still, there's a lot out there, but we're still waiting for a lot as well to really kind of hammer down what that means. I actually saw a podcast with China Cho today, and she is still confused because she really doesn't understand what all of it means yet.
Yeah. Well, just think about though, everybody, like how many times recently they've had to revamp what the games are, not just because of COVID, but because of the changes with champions. Like I can't imagine the amount of work that this takes. And for the athletes to like every year, I got to reread what this year concludes.
Right.
Yeah. She was even saying like, didn't know if she was going Masters or Open or any of that. So
yeah, it's almost like it has to happen. We have to be in it to sort of figure it out. And that's, unfortunately, it's going to be kind of like a baby step process for a lot of folks, most likely. I think the fun part, not the fun part, but the laid back part about it is that some of these elite athletes are really not that concerned about the Open. Whereas, last year, the Open was a big deal. I mean, you wanted to punch your ticket top 20 in the world. Now it's like top 10% in your continent. No big deal. Yeah, it's going to be nice. It's going to be cool for some of these on the bubble regional athletes too that we've known in the past, that they're all going to make it to that second round, which is going to be cool for them.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And it was cool. Morning Chocolate did a story today about there were these regional stars that kind of never made it to the games. Mm-hmm. And now they kind of get that opportunity. Are we going to see the same people, or is it going to be a new batch of people now? Because it's been a couple of years since we've had that regional-esque kind of competition. So
it's been a couple of years in a pandemic. So
there you go.
Who's kept their fitness going.
People are getting older, just saying.
Yep. Yeah, 2 years later.
Yeah. So the next thing on the list is there was actually a bill introduced, a bipartisan bill to get $30 billion with a B, $30 billion in relief for gyms across the country. It is called the Gym Mitigation and Survival Act. And their stats say that 44% of jobs lost, 44% of all jobs in the fitness industry have been lost due to the pandemic. And that's not just CrossFit, that is in the fitness industry across the board. And so there's also another part of it, other than that 30 billion, gyms can apply for another grant to use money for things that they, having gone through the grant process with the federal government in my job, you have to specifically say what you're going to use it for and why you need it. But there is supposed to be some earmarked money for that, for gyms to be able to apply for. And the $30 billion money is very open. You can use it for rent, salary. It was a whole, like basically everything at the gym could be paid for using that money.
Do you think businesses that qualified for the PPP loan will be null and void for that?
No,
I don't think so.
No, because there's a whole second stimulus package coming. And so it's just, this thing has gone on so long. This is that second wave, and they're just doing they introduced a specific bill for the fitness industry. So I think that's good news. It's something that has been long needed. And it shows that the government is saying, hey, we need the fitness industry to get people healthy so that we can kind of combat these things. And one of the senators that introduced it actually made that quote, that health is too important and we need the fitness industry around to help people get there. So that's a big change.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still waiting for them to come out and, tell people, demand that we get healthier. But yeah, it's a good first step for sure.
Yeah. One, there has to be gyms and fitness facilities open for people to do that. And so this is a way
what's
to
it like
do
in
that.
Ohio? Are you guys inside and running at decent capacity and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are too. Like, I still feel bad for like people that live in places like California where I don't know what they do. I mean, luckily some places it's warm, but I just can't imagine.
Yeah, they're getting pretty optimistic here because the cases have been cut by 75% on the day, but who knows? All right. So next news item is, all these CrossFitters are doing the bobsled thing. And so Tia was in her first race, and shocker, she won.
Shocker.
I don't know what kind of talent they were up against in the race, because I know there were some American competitions that like Kelsey Keel and Colleen Fosh were in here in the United States, but there was also a world championship going on in Europe where the Americans actually won. It was their number one driver who's won like 3 gold medals at the Olympics, and Lolo Jones, the former track athlete, they won the world championship in Europe. So I'm assuming it was something else, maybe like something Kelsey and Colleen did. And they both in North America, when they both medaled, Kelsey and Colleen. So all the CrossFitters going nuts. I haven't seen how James Newberry's doing, or if he's even on. He might be on Tia's team. No, he can't do co-ed. Never mind.
Do we know? So I saw footage today, I think on YouTube, of her actually driving the bobsled. She had a male counterpart, running, doing the back.
Break and push.
The brakeman, yeah. And she got to be in the front, which was really cool. And they showed that on one of some YouTube channel that I saw. So that was kind of cool. But do we know like when they pick teams? Do you know how like there was a time frame where like we found out that Colleen made the team and then Kelsey's sort of still training to maybe get on the team at some later date? Is there a point in time where Australian is going to like announce their team?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd be curious.
The Winter Olympics are next January.
Mm-hmm.
So we're less than a year away from the Winter Olympics. So it's got to be sometime soon, because then that team will have to train for this year to get ready.
Let's just DM Shane and ask him.
Right. Is anybody checking like the CrossFit website to see if Tia's even registered for the Open yet?
No.
Or do all those elite athletes like register on the Monday, the day that their scores are supposed to go in probably?
Yeah, they're usually last minute.
It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Yeah. Cool. More to come.
In other Matt Fraser news, it was announced today. I think we talked, maybe the Sevon Josh Matt podcast came out after we talked last week.
Yes, it came out like Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, so they did a full like review of Matt's retirement, why he did it. He was very open and honest about everything. Josh was giving him shit about that he doesn't know what it's going to feel like not to compete, and so he thinks he'll want to come back. But in that interview, Matt said things are coming. He has some things, irons in the fire, some plans and some goals. Well, the first thing that came out was his YouTube channel with a lot of fanfare on Instagram called Fraser. And it's a YouTube of him and Sammy. And the first one was like a highlight video of his career. And they really pumped that up. And he already has a gazillion subscribers. We struggle for everyone.
We just get
we
like
love
1,000
all of you.
of them.
He puts up one highlight video and he's got a gazillion. But then the second big announcement was that he is teaming up with Steffi Cohen and Hybrid Performance to put all of his programming out for you to subscribe to. And he's even doing an open prep kind of thing this year. So what's interesting about Hybrid Performance is it's not a CrossFit type programming thing. It is everything. They have coaches from all over sports. Steffi is a world record holder in powerlifting. So her stuff's on there. Now you have Matt with the CrossFit, and they have like 15 other coaches that have a specialty that they have their stuff on there. So Matt didn't go the CrossFit route kind of only. He went into this bigger pot.
That's smart.
He's no dummy.
So
yeah, I think it's way more mainstream and it makes a lot of sense. My question is, wasn't he following Shane's programming recently? So like, what is the programming that he's talking about actually? Or was it the programming that maybe he did
prior to Shane?
It was the first thing I thought of when he said, like, I've been wanting to release my programming, and I'm like, well, yeah, Shane and Tia just did. It's called Proven.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's all about how you market it.
Yeah. And I like the fact that he's doing that open prep. And I think he said he's going to have like, I don't know if it's individualized, but like tips and tricks and prep, for like once the workouts are released, he's going to do like one of those things where, on a Thursday night, he puts out a video on how to smash the workout to his group of subscribers, which is kind of cool.
Well, and it makes sense that he had to retire after 5 if he's going to use the 5 in his name.
It's sort of a graphic designer's nightmare, right? If it was 6.
Right. But what I said was, I think that this should be the year that Rich goes individual and says, oh, okay, I'm going to get 5. Then we can get Matt out of retirement and get
That's funny.
The champs to go head to head.
Yeah, well, Matt's got 5 in a row. Rich will never get 5 in a row. So.
Oh, 5 in a row. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if you guys saw, but the Buttery Bros are releasing a 3-part documentary series about the 2019 sanctional season. And I forgot to write down what the name of that is. It's Proven. I believe Proven. And the trailer is on YouTube. In order to see it, you have to be a Patreon member of the Buttery Bros. So the first episode is actually available today if you are one of their Patreon members.
How much does that cost?
So I was a Patreon member with them for like a year and a half, and they didn't add anything to the Patreon page. So I was like, why am I paying for this if they're not going to get anything extra? And now they added something.
Is it like $5.99 a month? Is it $10.99 a month? How much is it?
It might be like $8 a month. I think theirs was more. Like Talking to Elite Fitness, I think was $5, and theirs was a little bit more.
Guys, that's more than my Hulu account.
Your Hulu account or your parents' Hulu account?
Shh.
That's funny.
Fair.
So,
yeah, I considered it, but I assume eventually it's going to come out on iTunes or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're not going to just keep it behind that paywall forever.
Oh, you drinking some wine right there? Are you losing
I'm
some
not.
points?
It is water, very cold water, because these cups keep everything so cold.
Do we have any more of those left?
We do. We have more of these, and we have more of the coffee cups.
Fantastic.
All you have to do is DM me, and we can get you one.
Just slide right in those DMs.
So hydration, it's important.
It is.
Yes.
So we'll get into it's a late news night, so we're going to get into the crew updates pretty early.
Sweet.
So first thing is first. Nutrition challenge updates. 3 of us put our week totals into the text string. One is hiding and playing games.
No, I just needed to do it because I forgot which day. So when you updated it, did you include today's or was this yesterday?
It was Monday to
through
Sunday.
Monday through Sunday. I just had
So
one
7
day I
days.
needed to put in there. It was probably 3 or 4. I'll look.
And I underreported because I forgot about the sweat points. I was thinking I'm doing another nutrition challenge at the gym,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's a total of 4 points a day. And so I knew I had missed my 500 grams of fruits and vegetables pretty much every day. So when I was adding it up, I was only getting 4, but I did work out 3 times last week. So add 3 to my number, please. Thursday, Friday, 4. Add 4 to my number. 4.
So
Sorry.
here's what's
Wednesday,
funny.
Thursday, Friday,
I
Saturday,
think
I
there's
worked
some
out.
cheating going on.
Nope,
Oh,
no cheating.
Whatevs.
4.
Here's what's funny. So Mr. Odie came to my class this morning at 6:15. This is hilarious. Well, first of all, there was a snowstorm this morning that happened. So he's been doing really good. Yeah. He's been doing really good about showing up when he signs up, but he was a little late today. Anyways, gave him a pass. So he does, I love that he's not on here, then I can talk about this. And maybe if he listens, he'll find out. So there was a strength portion in the workout today, and then there was the WOD, and he did the strength portion. And then, I get ready, 3, 2, 1, I had a full class, and he's sitting over there on his box, and he comes over to me and he's like, "Are you going to do this workout afterwards, after the class?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, I'll just wait and do it with you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And so the class finished. It was only a 10-minute workout. Class finishes, they're kind of leaving. I'm getting my stuff set up because I work out right afterwards. And he just sits around on the box while I do my strength. And then he's like, "Well, I think I'm going to go."
Oh.
It's like, so should I ask the group if your sweat points count today? I mean,
Yes. He did the strength portion.
I know, but I was like, but did you sweat? I don't see any perspiration.
So Amy, what are your points then?
I'll have to look at it. I got 4 for the one day I didn't report, so add 4.
You didn't give us any number.
Add 4 to what?
I gave you each day. I don't have the running total. I have to go back and look at each day.
Yeah, we all gave our running total on Monday morning.
I did not.
I think we're winning anyway, though, because I got
We are.
26 this week.
I only got 19.
Although I haven't worked
Charlie
out
got 20.
Monday or Tuesday, so.
Okay, I see where everybody is. I'll just give this update as we.
So 20 and 19 is Charlie and I.
39.
26 and unknown is the female side of this thing.
Looks like we're ahead for week 1, by all accounts.
Yep.
Sweet. So do we talk about our pennants from last nutrition challenge?
I think so.
Not quite, because I do want to talk about like how it's going with everyone.
Oh, okay.
You know the points, but any struggles with nutrition this week?
This week, yes, Catherine is addicted to carbohydrates, and although I'm allowed to eat carbohydrates, I'm not supposed to eat just carbohydrates or all the carbohydrates. So I'm struggling a little bit. I'm gonna blame it on hormones or something, but I'm struggling. It happens.
Amy?
I had a little bit of a struggle because I had wine 2 nights in a row. I'm gonna make an excuse. I'm just because it's true, but I had some really crappy days at work, and so that was how I chose to unwind after that. So that's been my struggle. But nutrition is going well. Other than remember, Natalie. So I made all my meal preps. My score is 22. I made all my meal preps for the week. Made awesome. I did ground turkey, sauteed or air fryer vegetables, broccoli, peppers, all that. That girl was on a snow day today and ate some of my lunches. So I think the team Funkle is means fun uncle.
I know.
Okay. Team Funkle is trying to sabotage me by paying Natalie out to eat my food.
That's funny.
Yeah, we're trying.
Do you have other meals left over, or are you did you just prep for today?
I had it for the week though, so
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
You're ahead of me. I haven't prepped. I'm now in charge of feeding my son because we talked about
4,000
he gets
calories.
8,000 calories a day,
Yeah.
and he has school, Zoom for whatever, but he has to eat breakfast, and so he had me make him today Kodiak cake pancakes, a whole cup of the mix, which is like,
2
a
servings.
million pancakes.
Yeah.
I've added a scoop of protein powder. I added like two eggs worth of egg whites. And then he had 32 grams of peanut butter on top, along with like 2 tablespoons of syrup. So I'm like weighing and measuring and doing all that, and I bring it up to him. And it's weird because when I prep, I almost feel like I ate the food, even though I didn't eat
Yeah.
the food.
Yeah.
I kind of, and then I get like all confused because I go to like put in what I had and I'm like, oh man, all that food. And I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't eat anything. I
Yeah.
had to eat too. But it's just we're on different, opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to like what we're preparing, what I'm preparing for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I did all the food prep last week. Everything was great. Weight is just shedding off.
That's awesome.
At Saturday morning, I was at 17 and a half pounds down. And then Sunday came and Super Bowl, and I did not eat bad at all.
Did you
but
drink?
I did have a couple beers.
Mhm.
And my weigh-in Monday after that, I went back up like 3 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, like all that for a couple beers. But now it's coming back off again today. So, hopefully by tomorrow I'll be back to the 17 and a half and rolling. But
Are you weighing every day, Scott?
Yeah.
You are.
So Cheryl has me weigh every day, and every day I have to put into a system that she has all of my macros, how I feel that day, how my mental focus, my
like your energy
my
level, your mood.
my sleep number,
Kind of like the healthy app.
all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And then she looks at my food log, and based on like the way the weight is going up or down and the food I've eaten the day before, she actually will take foods away from me, thinking because it's apparent that they are causing inflammation or something that is.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of analysis that I'm getting with this that I've never had before. But it has been the easiest nutrition I've done
It's awesome.
ever. And yeah, so I'm winning at that. I may be losing the nutrition challenge, but I'm
What
winning
about
at
your
that.
movement?
I was telling Kat, I finally got back to stretching yesterday. And then tonight I'm going to try some of the strength rehab exercises to see if it lights up that back. Cause it's just a dull ache right now. Where like I have the TENS machine on a lot during the day when I'm working. But yeah.
What about, like, can you do any rowing or anything, or does that bother your back?
Yeah. Anything where I'm hinging at all, or when I'm walking, it feels like someone's stabbing me in the butt. But it's going away each day. Like today, I feel like I could do something. So I'm going to try a couple things tonight and see how it feels. Cause I go see Dr. Alexander tomorrow. So then I can get something adjusted or whatever.
I'm almost thinking like you should get rid of your rower and get a bike instead.
Yeah.
I wish I could. Maybe I could.
Yeah, you should look at one of the marketplace websites, because I think that would definitely help you. Like, because that would be just some kind of movement, and like especially during the day when you're working, because you're stuck at home and you have a job where you're on the desk.
Yeah.
But to get up and ride the bike for a few minutes.
My goal was to have a bike and a rower, but maybe at this point I just need to sell the rower and buy a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. All right. So we actually did a nutrition challenge like 6 years ago, and the ladies lost, and they owed us a TikTok video, and we never got it. Never got it.
You almost
And
didn't
finally,
get it in time for today.
I know,
right? Finally, we got one.
Well, let me tell you something about it. You want to know how I'm old? I spent more time trying to figure out that app to create this dang thing than I did actually filming it.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
Because I was just trying to get the right cut the right song. It's not even the part of the music I wanted, but I spent over an hour and I was like, I can't spend any more of my time on it.
That's great.
All right. Well, we have the TikTok video by Kat and Amy.
We do.
Hashtag Nutrition Challenge Losers. Is that what it was?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't think that the hashtag doesn't show, but I want it known that was the hashtag on it.
Here's what's
what I'm
funny,
going to do
Kat, is I was like, oh, I have a like. And I went and looked at it and it was your daughter.
It was my daughter. Bust down Eliana or something.
So I'm going to share my screen and we'll watch the video and you guys will see the cool TikTok they did.
Can't wait.
So
I got dressed up for it and everything. Me.
can you guys see?
We see all the stuff.
Green.
Oh,
There we go.
Here we go.
Oh, look at that beautiful form.
It looks much more smooth on the app.
How much weight did you have on there?
Oh, 65 pounds.
Oh, see, I only had 55. I was like trying to flex and put I was thinking maybe I'll put 85 on just to be like a douche.
I thought about it, but I didn't have enough time to grip to do the snatch balance. And so that's why it's I don't want to go heavy for that part.
That's funny. That was fun. Yeah, it took me 2 takes. My first take was a bad angle. It was very awkward looking. So I had to sort of back up.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for doing the video and being good
fun.
sports, even though we had to wait.
It's okay.
6 years.
When you guys lose this next one, Amy and I will already have selected, the type of video you're supposed to do. So we will just hand it to you. We had to come out with this one on our own. That's why it took so long.
Wait a minute. I thought the bet was Karen.
What?
Oh, was it?
Oh, that's what I said. You go back and look. I said the bet should be the losers have to do Karen.
Well, should be is not an agreement.
And a TikTok video.
Your Honor, that's not a commitment or a handshake.
Well, I think you see it in the notes. Michael Andreck even commented on them. He said, whoa, Karen would be a rough one.
Yeah, would be if we agreed to it.
All right. Well, let's ask our listeners. Let's vote for something. Let's get a vote going.
All right, let's move off of that and get to any good wads this week.
No, I haven't done any watts this week.
Well, it's back to last Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
You know what I'm going to do this week, though, is I'm going to do 14.1. I'm pretty excited. That's my first ever open workout that I did, so I'm excited to see that.
14.1.
Double unders and snatches?
Yep.
Oh, I did that thing 7 times. Hoping to catch
10 minutes, yeah.
Was it a repeat? Did it repeat?
Unders.
It's 11.1 and 14.1.
Okay, so no, it hasn't. Gosh, I haven't done that workout since
It was in the
2014.
team series as partners.
Yeah, I remember that too. I should do that again.
And
too,
I did it with Amy's husband and I threw up.
I remember that.
Did you have double unders at the time, Amy, when you did it back in 14?
I had single, double. So yes, I had them, but I did not get very many rounds.
Yeah, same. I was a mess with the jump rope. That's great. I did Saturday, my girlfriend Colleen and I, we do every other Saturday. She comes to my gym and we work out together because we go to different boxes now. But we did, Jared Enderton had some kind of workout. It was a partner workout, 60 calories on the assault bike or the Echo bike, 60 dumbbell snatches, 60 devil press, maybe 40 devil press, 40 burpee box jump overs, something else. It was really gross, but it was fun, and a 40 calorie. It was all right. Sorry. 60 bike, 60 snatches, 40 burpee over bar, burpee box jump overs, and 40 calories on the assault bike. There was something else in there too. It was really good. It was fun. Oh, and then we had to do 2 rounds of something and toes the bar. God, what was that other thing? Maybe it was devil's press. Did I say devil's press? Devil's press toes to bar.
You definitely said devil's press because I was gone like this.
yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of stuff. It was fun. I love partner workouts. It's funny, in the middle of it, we were coming off of something, maybe the burpee box jump overs. And I was like, I miss competing. And she's like, yeah, me too. But like partners, like she and I have
Yes.
done competitions together. And it's just, nice to have a little bit of a break. And she and I work well together. I remember the last competition that we won, she like blew out her knee in the middle of the competition. And I was like on death's door. I had like the flu or something. And the last workout was like kettlebell, really heavy kettlebell swings, deadlifts, and box jump overs. And I was like, I will do all the box jump overs if you do all the kettlebell swings and all the deadlifts. And it was like ridiculous. People were watching like, is she going to come off the box? Is she going to come off the box? Is she going to come off the box? And it was like big numbers too. And I was just like, because her knee wouldn't work and she couldn't jump. My back was hurting. So
you should ask Scott what it's like to be a partner with me during a partner workout.
Uh-oh, is it bad? Do you scream and yell?
So Amy and I did the team series together every year until the last year it was just a 2-person. Okay. But so my best friend Sprinks and I, we'd be deadlifting and her and Sarah shoved us out of the way because we were going too slow.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah, we had slowed down the pace too much. So they're like, get out of there. And they're like shoving us so they could jump on the bar.
Or I'd be like, go, let's go. Come on, pick it up. Let's go.
Love it.
I don't throw up that often in CrossFit. Team series with Amy, almost every event.
Wow. That's funny. Yeah, I've decided that I've been observing my performance in classes the last couple months and like noticing the people that sort of do better than me in class, assuming they're like honest about their scores or whatnot, but that like when it comes to competitions or something, I will typically beat them. And I've decided that I'm just like a game day performer. You know what I mean? Like I can really get in the zone and like push really hard when I have to, but when I'm in a class, I just don't care enough to do it. I'm all about training and practicing and not about competing when I'm not in a competition.
See, I think I'm the other way around.
Are you?
I do better
like
with less
bring
pressure.
It all the time.
But
I
am
the first 4 years she CrossFitted, she was like, don't look at me. Don't look at me.
That's true. It's because of the internal pressure I put on myself and like that I'm not going to meet someone's expectations. It's totally an internal thing, but yeah.
I think for me, I like my background in performing, like with ballet and stuff, like I like to perform. And so it's like when it really counts, like I will lie down and run through a brick wall. But if it's just practicing, and I'm uncomfortable, I'm like, I'm uncomfortable. I don't need to do this.
Just ease up on this a little bit.
I know I can do it when I have to, the 3 times a year I'm in a competition. So.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of my problem is I didn't know when to quit. I didn't listen to my body and I pushed through things I probably shouldn't have for a local comp. But I don't know how you turn that off.
Right. Yeah, it's hard.
So, well, one other big thing happened this week with the crew, and that is that everybody line up for Kat's autograph as she appeared in the most recent episode of the Buttery Bros with a friend of the show, Danielle Brandon. She was featured at the Fittest Experience, and Kat appears to be a stalker of Heber Cannon, showing up behind his shoulder a couple times, but then she gets a feature role when the volunteers are breaking it down and she's yelling the chant to break down the volunteers. And it was cool getting to see my friend on the Buttery Bros when I was watching it this week. So
yeah, I didn't get any vocal credits. I was kind of bummed, but yeah, I was totally not stalking them, but like right place or wrong place at the right time every time. And I was so goofy when I did see Heber, when I was standing behind him for that snatch event, and he like looked back and I said hi, and I called him Marston. Like I was so like, bleh. I was like, hey Mars, I mean Heber, like duh. And I even like said something about Jenna because Jenna and I had been DMing about something about his trip in Aruba. I said, oh yeah, I talked to Jenna. She said she had a great time. He's probably like, who the hell is this weirdo? Doesn't even know my name. And why is she talking to me? I actually had a dream about Heber like the next night because I felt so awkward in that encounter that he was yelling at me. I was like trying to talk to him and he's like, and you talking shit about my wife, like leave us alone. Like it was like so weird. And I was like, oh my God, what did I say? I love Jenna. Like, what are you talking about? It was great. So yeah, I was all over in that place. It was fun. It was cool to see.
So any family or major updates from last week?
I don't.
No. Did I tell you guys Eliana has a boyfriend?
No. Does she know
Yeah.
you're talking about that on this podcast?
I don't know. She doesn't care. She doesn't watch this podcast. Neither does anybody really. That, any of my
200
family members.
45.
I mean, I have 30 people in my family. You think any of them would be subscribers? Like that would be nice, but no.
How do you really feel?
I know. She met him. They started seeing each other like New Year's Eve, but they're like an item now. It's super cute. He's a really nice guy. I really like him a lot. He plays baseball. So like we know all about boys in baseball. She's decided she wants to play college softball as a sophomore. She's
Right.
going to play in college. So
Okay, great.
there's that. No, she's a sweetheart, but she's having fun with him. And like, she's picking out his Valentine's Day present. And
Sure
that
she
kind of stuff.
is.
It's kind of cute. Yeah. She's 15. She'll be 16 in June. And this is like literally her first boyfriend. So it's just cute. It's sweet.
Yeah.
A lot of supervision.
Well, I've had a couple major events this week. One is, if you've been a longtime follower of the show, you know that I have had leg issues that have been a pain in my arse for about 3 years now. And today, officially, my right leg is fully healed. One down, one
Where's
to
the
go.
bell? Ring the bell. That's awesome.
And so the wound clinic actually has a bell. Like when you get it all
do
done,
they?
you get to ring the bell that you're out. And then my left leg, it's all healthy tissue now. It's just waiting for it to kind of close up. And so one down, one to go. And I'm wearing the cast this week just to make sure the skin stays strong. And then after that, it'll just be a compression sock.
Good stuff. And what did we
So
say
that's-
about your nutrition?
Well, I talked to them about it, but they didn't really say anything. But I mean, come on.
What did we say about it though?
Yes.
Yeah,
My nutrition's on point, and now all of a sudden I'm healing up. So
crazy. Food is medicine.
yeah,
So is movement.
keep
awesome.
hammering that home. I wish I could.
It's true.
So the other big thing is, and it was a big surprise to me, is I got reached out to yesterday that my old high school is hanging banners in the natatorium over the pool of everybody who's ever won a district championship in swimming at my high school. And that's not a lot of people. Like for people to understand, the district is Northwestern Pennsylvania for the most part. So all of Erie, Meadville, Grove City. And so I won a district championship in 1986. And so I will have a banner in the swimming pool where I went to high school.
Very cool.
It's like you're a local celebrity.
Right?
Yeah, it's like I told my wife and my mom, like it's been 35 years since that happened. Like the last thing I expected was a call saying, "Hey, we're putting a banner in the rafters for your achievement." But pretty awesome.
What year were you when you won?
86.
I mean, what year in high school were you?
That was sophomore.
Sophomore
Wow.
year, right? Wow.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
I actually, my swimming, it's a bizarre career. I got worse as I got older in some of my events. And then I picked up a new event towards later in my career. And then, yeah. And when I kind of,
Very cool.
yeah. it's weird, but I played football and swam, and I think like that hurt my swimming career towards the end of my high school career.
Mm-hmm.
But plus I broke my thumb my sophomore year and swam with cast, and it messed up my stroke forever.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Very cool.
that
stuff,
is
Scott.
that is the crew updates. Yeah, I'm so excited. It's going to be cool. But so we are going to get to our silly questions, and we have a predetermined order for question number 1. And what is your 15 minutes of fame? And I want to give credit to Michael Andrak. This is a question that he sent in. And like we said a couple episodes ago, if you send in some questions, we'll put them on and give you credit for it. And maybe it's just a question you want to know the answer to, or you think it's fun or whatever. But yeah, Michael sent this one in. And so Amy, 15 minutes of fame.
I wish I could think of a better one, but I'm going to take it back to 2008. And I was featured on like a local news special for, they wanted to interview a mom who, and ask a mom, when do you take a child to the doctor versus the ER versus urgent care? And so they came over and filmed me and the kids. And, I just asked me those questions. And it was funny because like I answered them really well. And so afterwards, like, wow, come to find out this mom worked in childcare, which is why she knew all the answers. And I was like, nobody said that I couldn't work in childcare for this. But Scott, I don't know do you remember Heather Pick from Hamilton? Yeah. So she was the one that came over and interviewed. So I wish I still had the footage because Natalie did some really cute ninja stuff in the video, but anyways, that's me.
That's funny. All right, so mine, I'm taking it way back, 1984. I was at a Phillies game, and the Cubs were playing the Phillies, and they were warming up for the game, and I was standing on the edge of my seat. We had box seats. It was right over top of the tarp on the third base side, and I had a program in my hand, and the Philly fanatic came up and took my program, and he stuck it in Jody Davis's back pocket. Jody Davis was the catcher. He was coming from the bullpen, and he stopped to talk to the third baseman on his way to home plate. And the Philly fanatic had me come out on the field to get my program. And it was back in the day when you weren't allowed to go on the field. So I stood there like, afraid to go on the field. And he had to do this like mock mimicking of like showing a security guard and saying it was okay. And I finally like climbed over onto the off the tarp and got my program, and then like danced on the field with the Philly fanatic. My mom's got a picture. It's like 8x10 in the family room of the old house. And, yeah, that was it. I felt like a superstar.
So when Michael sent this in, he assumed that I was going to say my CrossFit Journal documentary.
Uh-huh.
But au contraire, mon frère. So mine goes back to 1984.
Sweet.
It was the Western Pennsylvania Swimming Championships. So now we've taken, I told you Erie and that now Pittsburgh is involved and all that. And I was seated first and second in my two events. And I ended up taking first in both of them. And I beat a guy named Eric Namesnick, who went on to win 4 silver medals in the Olympics.
Oh, cool.
To basically sweep my events in the Western Pennsylvania Championships. And so I got to beat an Olympian one day.
Pretty awesome.
That's cool. Was that like, were you like 14 and under or 12 and under?
I would have been, I would have been 14 or 15. Okay. So it was either 84, 85, because swim season goes over and my birthday's January 1. So,
right.
Yeah. So I was 14 or 15.
Cool.
Yeah. That was awesome. I lost to him at States because I missed my flip turn.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah. On my third turn, I flipped and missed the wall. And you're just like trying to get back to push off. Yeah. Awful. All right. So question number 2, we just finished the Super Bowl. What is your favorite football memory and some of your favorite Super Bowl party snacks?
Okay, so you're asking like the least football fan person on the planet, probably. So I'm
Any
gonna
level.
be I'm gonna be really cynical and say when I won a couple $100 in that block Super Bowl thing that you put money into,
square?
the squares. That was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. That was really cool. And my husband's family does a Super Bowl party when coronavirus is not a thing. And they do a really good job, like a nice, beautiful spread. I think it's the first time I ever tried buffalo chicken dip, which is like probably my all-time favorite thing to eat at a Super Bowl party. But they also do Super Bowl bingo with really cool prizes. So shout out to those folks that do those awesome Super Bowl parties. But yeah, that's it for football memories. I've been to one NFL football game my entire life. It was an Eagles game. I was pregnant with Braden. I don't even really remember it. Couldn't have a beer. Sorry, I'm lame.
Amy?
I'm going to be honest, I don't watch a whole lot of the actual football when it's happening, but so I'll just give a memory that I think my husband would be happy with. So I'll just say the Pittsburgh Steelers and one for the thumb. Okay, how about that?
So when I said football, I didn't say NFL. So it could be Buckeyes.
Yeah,
It could be.
I thought you were going to say a
could be
Schmoopy
Schmoopy.
memory.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I thought it was Super Bowl and okay, it's anytime Schmoopy is playing football is my favorite one. The moment
I got a better one. I got a good one now. I thought about it. So in my neighborhood, on Thanksgiving, we had neighbors who were grandparents of these kids that would come in from like New York State and visit over the holidays. And there were like 6 or 7 of them, all cousins. And my brother and I and a couple other kids, we would always play football in the street on Thanksgiving weekend. And this one particular time, I'm the youngest. I've said this story before, like I was a big tomboy and I was like the only girl in my neighborhood. So I was always playing with like the older kids and the bigger kids. And this one kid was like 5 or 6 years older than me, super fast. And I was fast enough that I got to tag him right in the chest, right? Like perfect tag, prevented whatever forward motion he had. He kneed me in the stomach and I passed out and I hit my head on the pavement. And I remember, my mom tells me this, my brother went running home. We were like 2 doors away. And he said, "Mom, Catherine's hurt really bad. I think she's dead." And my mom came out, scooped me up off the floor. You know, I had like, I don't know, I think I probably had a concussion or something. The poor kid that I like tagged, I'm 9, he's 14, right? He feels terrible. The pediatrician lived 2 doors down the street, made a house call, you know, the whole bit. That's my greatest football memory. Never forget.
So mine's a pretty cool story. My wife, so this was, the year Corey was born, 2001. It was the last year that Soldier Field in its original state was going to be up. They were going to renovate it and modernize it. And I wanted to go and see the Bears in Soldier Field one time before they renovated the stadium. So she bought me tickets. And then 9/11 happened. And so our tickets were for October, and we didn't even know if we were going to be able to get to Chicago or if the NFL was going to play in October. But, you know, a couple weeks later, the NFL came back and eventually flights came back. We flew to Chicago and we were like 6 people on a full major Southwest plane. That's how few people were flying right after 9/11. We get to Chicago, they're playing the Browns. We have a fun weekend. We go to the game and we go in like shorts and windbreakers and stuff. And when it gets dark, the wind off the lake was frigid. So it's like 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter and the Bears are down by 2 touchdowns. And I'm like, we just need to go catch our plane. Let's go try to catch a cab before the game's over. So we go out of the stadium and we're walking across, I think it's Grant Park, to get out to Michigan Avenue to be able to get a cab. And as we're walking across the park, there are people listening to the game on the radio. And they're like, oh my gosh, the Bears scored. And we're like, but still they're down by a touchdown and there's like a minute left. And so we get a little further across the park and like, they got the onside kick. We're like, nuh-uh. We get a little bit further and like, they threw a Hail Mary and scored a touchdown. It's tied. I'm like, are you kidding me? We left the stadium. So we get out to Michigan Avenue and we get across the street and the Hilton's right there. And there's like 50 people looking through the window of the Hilton into the bar to watch overtime on the TV who have all left the game. And the Bears on the opening play, Tim Couch throws an interception to Mike Brown and he runs it back for a touchdown and then up into the tunnel and the game's over and the Bears win. And the city erupts. Like everybody goes nuts in the city. And we hop on the L, we get back to Midway, we get to our plane, we get on the plane and it's a bunch of Browns fans heading home to Columbus because they had been there to see the game. And we're wearing like Bears jerseys and yeah, we got the death stare the whole way back to our seat, but it was such a fun memory. And my favorite snacks are chicken wings. I like dry rub smoked chicken wings and beer.
I'm going to say this year, the air fryer chicken wings. Have you tried that yet?
They ain't going to be as good as my smoked chicken wings.
Well, okay, but doesn't take very long.
All right. So that was fun. Got to relive a couple moments there. So next week's guest, we have none other than the Bo Jackson of our generation, Carolyn Prevost. For those of you who don't know, she plays pro hockey. She plays pro soccer. She plays, she is a Taekwondo participant who went all the way to the Pan Am Games. She is the fittest woman in Canada. So basically, she has won 12 national championships in 5 different sports.
Just a little bit talented.
That was a fun conversation. And she is really focusing on CrossFit now, and it's going to be fun to see what this season looks like for her. And she talks about that, and you can check that out next Monday at 11 a.m. So now we're going to finish up with the best thing from the internet. And I guess I get to go first. So I always have this 10 questions with Kyle Brandt that I have on. They had Michael Irvin on, and they get to talking about the first time the Dallas Cowboys went to the Super Bowl. And the Cowboys were up pretty big after the first half. And that was the year that Michael Jackson was the halftime show of the Super Bowl. And Michael Irvin tells the story of how he told his coach he had to go to the bathroom, and he snuck out the locker room down the tunnel so he could see Michael Jackson's halftime show. And he said the funny thing was he wasn't the only one standing there watching. So apparently a whole bunch of football players had snuck out to see Michael Jackson play that halftime show. And he said it was worth every bit of it to go see it. It was an amazing thing to witness. And it was a pretty cool story. So it was a fun episode of 10 Questions with Kyle Brandt to kind of hear that. Kat?
I'm going to go with China Cho and Freddie Camacho are moving to Hawaii.
That's awesome.
They announced it on their Instagram. I don't know what they're going to be doing there. I don't know what China's plans are, as we mentioned before, with the season and whatnot, but they are moving to Lahaina, which is on Maui. They bought a condo and they leave in a couple weeks. So it'll be fun to see what kind of fun they get into in Hawaii.
Yeah, on the podium picks today that she was on with Sean and Tommy, she talks about that she was full go for the team this year, and they weren't going to move until the end of this year because of that. And then when everything flipped for the team, it kind of accelerated things.
Yeah.
And when Amy and I interviewed Freddie way back in the early days of this podcast, he actually said that their goal was to get to Hawaii in the next few years. So, so that's kind of coming full circle.
They've owned that affiliate for almost 15 years. So, they deserve a break for sure.
Amy?
Oh, okay. Mine is called Chippy Tits. So let me tell you how this came, because I'm going to shout this out to another listener. So we have another listener, Matt and Carrie Lux. Well, let's be honest. Matt listens to it. I don't know if Carrie does. But anyways, we were playing a game one night, and it was something where you had, I think it was, I don't know, you had to like write an answer to something. You have to read and guess who said it. And she was talking about chippy tits. And I was like, what? I've never heard of this. What are you talking about? So it is this British couple that make these videos back and forth. And they put that filter on where it changes their mouth. And so it looks like you can't really tell what they look like. Well, today, the one that I'm talking about today, he is wearing like a weightlifting singlet. And he was like, I'm going to make an exercise video. And so he gets these little tiny weights and he starts making an exercise videos. But he always talks about his chippy tits. And so it was just really funny. So chippy tits is where it's at with their fitness video.
Yeah, it is really funny if you watch it, because they use the voice modulator too.
Yeah.
And so he's got that really high pitched chipmunk voice talking about his chippy tits. Yeah.
Yeah. And saying, arse out, tits out, arse out, tits out. And so I think it would be fun if I was coaching and you just shouted that out. No, that would not be appropriate, but it's funny.
Well, we want to thank RX Smart Gear for being an awesome sponsor again. Again, you need a new rope for the Open. Make sure you go to rxsmartgear.com. Use the code Clydesdale15, all caps, to get 15% off your order. That does exclude new editions or new releases and special editions. But we love RX. They've been awesome to us. And they've had their 10-a-day challenge going on. There's a lot of people posting about that. So if you don't know what that is, go check it out. And with that, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Again, love the comments. We got one of our silly questions from a comment this week. We love them. And we got a lot last week. Andrew Sten had actually been to the Gumbo Shop, one of the places I mentioned that I love to eat in New Orleans, and said that it was one of his favorite places as well. So it's cool to kind of hear that. But yeah, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, comment. It does do something for the algorithm. And I'm noticing the algorithm is working better for us now, because if someone is a guest on the Buttery Bros, all of a sudden, if we've had them on this show, we go, so it must be linking us to people like that now.
That's awesome.
So make sure you keep doing that. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time on the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends.
Bye.
See ya.